And let's go to the analysis board as Hikaru wins his second game in a row. Seems to have righted a bit of the ship for himself. Robert pointing out that if you just look at it in a position like this, often white gets these kind of things. White can get a space advantage, and black always has to deal with a weak d6 pawn. The thing is, normally, black has already gotten b5, and with it, either some space or an open b file for the rook, right? There's usually a lot more queenside counterplay that comes with the sacrifice that is this big center for white. So that's kind of the reason this whole thing went wrong, and the reason Hikaru Nakamura has regained the lead in the match.
And Wesley going back to these exchange type Spanish structure where black has these double pawns in the c file, but has the two bishops. I've liked the positions that Wesley has gotten. There's no 9a5 in this game. That was really just something. Wesley ended up losing that game, which travesty considering how nice his the opening. Here with the white pieces, he is saying, my rook on e1, your queen on e8. Who's going to win this stare down? Typically, it's the less valuable piece, the rook in this case. But right, Hikaru takes on e4.
Wow. This is like bringing all of white's pieces where they dream to be. But
yeah,
this is kind of like the line we saw earlier. The difference is this bishop on e7 was on b6, hitting d4. And, not that move, but bishop b4 played now. The point is, in the line, if you're just tuning in a few games earlier, we had a similar structure where Hikaru had the f-file, but also had a slightly more solid setup, maybe some more pressure on this isolated d-pawn that he doesn't have here.
Bishop e6, though. Spying on the queen on b3 through the knight on d5. So just like the rook on e1 and the queen on e8, there's a bishop and a queen. So stare downs galore in this game, and the less valuable piece often wins that one. So let's see here. You have to move the queen out the way because knight takes c3 isn't really a threat, as your bishop on b4 would lose his defensive piece.
Right.
So he does retreat when all said and done, but maybe he didn't have to.
So he says, move, queen, get out the way, get out the way.
Yep.
Get out the way.
I guess there's a new bishop dropping back down to d2.
Lights out on the f-file. 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 king. Are we doing this? And we're not doing it. I was trying to get you to buy in and like give me some blue to maybe go Tom Cruise, Tropic Thunder. Move, queen, get out the way. No. Robert, I'm here. I'm your friend. Remember? All right, bishop back to d6. The bishop pair has coordinated again.
I also hit you with a Bubba Sparks reference in there that you didn't hear.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it. All right, knight g6 is going to force the endgame, though, because you got to take with the queen, right? You can't take with the pawn. Yeah, so the ladies are coming off the board. Rook takes e6. Now white's going to get the e-file. So finds a way to transition. This is a bit of a two-result endgame, I think, for white. Am I underestimating? Okay, this is a nice move. You're preparing the lift to hit a2, and so stops it. Your thoughts on the endgame transition here? Feels better for white.
Yeah, but it just got annoying because you don't really want to play d5 as he's just done. d5 came very quickly, undermining the defense of the pawn on d5. And what Hikaru is claiming is my bishop on d6 is a great piece. It protects c5, it protects c7. It keeps your king away from the h2 square, so you don't have the luff that you would like to have. And at some point, you might just play pawn a6 and open up the a file for his rook on a8. And
yeah,
I don't see how black gets an attack unless he's thinking about rook e7 and exchange sack, but that seems too risky.
He plays a6. Let's go to the back cave and show that line you're talking about. The point is if b takes a6, we have rook takes a6, a2, the biggest weakness on the board. Okay, so plays a4. Doesn't really like that, but now the trade will ultimately leave white with a weak b pawn, even things just like rook b8. Go get it. Hikaru has rebounded here. This has been a game of back and forth, couple of big blows landed by both of these guys. Hikaru was up by 4, and then Wesley comes running back, takes the lead, but now Hikaru up again by 1.
Yeah, and for Wesley, you don't want the wheels to come off, right? You don't want to just... He's been getting good positions, and that game where he was white a couple games ago where Hikaru countered and one that ended up being a rook end game, that was that was a tragic loss for him.
Right.
So right here, you play bishop takes d6 and get your b pawn passed. It's like an opportunity for white to play for more.
Yeah, I think probably most likely what we end up seeing is the b pawn being enough of a decoy that black wins that, white wins the c pawn, and yet again we're headed for a draw. But okay, Hikaru trying to say, no, I don't want to give up my c pawn so easily. Wesley says, haha, too bad. Yeah, Hikaru is like, yeah. Whispering sweet nothings to himself.
Even if black lost the d pawn, it would still be a draw because the double g pawns actually hold off the white pawns and the king.
They play on. Hikaru is maybe taking a second to think about the overall match strategy, decides that it's not worthy taking a draw here and wants to get more time off the clock. That's one thing we haven't really discussed yet, Robert, in today's match is the format of the time controls, right? Especially given the experience these two guys have, I'm sure it's in their head in terms of how to handle these moments.
Yeah, at what moment do you just start spending time or wasting time so you get the match clock dwindling? Yep. It's a good question. Wesley's going on here. He's
going to try. He's going to take d5 at some point. Maybe deal with the king side first. But you made a great point. Even if that d pawn falls, as Hikaru now forces you to take it. But then rook a4 check. Oh, okay, that's probably going to force the draw now. But again, I don't know that Hikaru just takes the draw. Okay, he decides to. Wesley so offers and he accepts.